see, I already cooked the meat. That's the pork. And I just ran it through the processor, the food processor. I get the cheese at Sam's or Costco. It's cheaper there. So I got 5, 10. I'm going to have 15 pounds of cheese altogether. Go with as I mix the meat and the cheese together. And it's just the same. I do the same thing with cookie dough. I use my hands. Hands usually work better than. I don't ever add salt or pepper to this mixture because the cheese, as it melts, it tends to be a little bit salty. And so I have found if I add salt to this, sometimes I get it too salty. Now I've got some homemade salsa, and you can use any kind of salsa. Blend it so it's creamy so we don't have chunks in the pupusas. This is ragu traditional. Now we just want just enough salsa. That gives it some color and it gives it a little bit of moisture. You don't want a lot. I usually don't measure. Okay, see how that is? There's not any salsa, it's not wet, it's not oozing salsa. You just want enough to give it. Now I'm going to put this to one side and I'll mix that one later. Do the masa. What you're looking for is M-A-S-A. This is a different brand. This one's a lot cheaper. This is 6 cups. There's 4 and 2. So you take 6 cups. I'm going to start with about 4 cups of water. This is warm, it's not super hot. You just start mixing it too. See, you're doing a squeezing. You're taking your hand, you're going like that, but then I'm squeezing while I'm doing that too. Okay, see, like right here where it's dry. You don't want it dry. This isn't like a cookie dough. When you're first starting, just do a small batch like this. If you start with just 6 cups, or even 4 cups or something, you'll get better at it. Sometimes I'll do 2 or 3 small batches instead of one great big batch. Okay, see how it's, I can go like this now and it's not sticking to the side. If it's sticking to the side, it's really too wet. And then I take it and I pound it. And you'll see how it's just almost barely sticking, but not quite. If it's too dry, and it's like a soft clay dough. If it's too dry, when you start to do this, it will crack on the edges. And then it's too dry, and your pupusas are going to crack too much. You want them to crack where the cheese comes out, but you don't want them to crack because they're dry. But it gets, you feel it in your hands. It's like it almost has a sticky elasticity. So I just take a plastic bag from a store. I put it right here. I'm going to grab a little piece here. Probably about the size of a, is that the size of a golf ball? Maybe a little bit bigger. See how it's going to fall apart on me. It's not. You gotta almost squeeze it a little and then roll it. And you can feel it. It's like it gets more elastic. And then you got a nice smooth ball. Now you're gonna take your thumb, both thumbs, and we're pushing like this. Pushing down with the thumb. Have it in your hand. Grab some of this. Now if you watch the other videos on YouTube, they only add a little bit. Or they'll have the cheese here, the meat here, and some sauce there, and they put in some meat. Then they do. That's too much work. Just get it all ready. And I try to fill it. I mean, see how full that is? Then we're going to take this finger and this finger. We're going to push those. If you have to, squeeze a little bit more. Now see, they don't do that. They don't put that much in. On theirs, they don't want any of this meat or cheese showing. I do that on purpose. See how it's cracking? Because I have as much meat and cheese. Look at that. But that stuff starts oozing out, and then Gets a little toasty, crispy. And then we throw it down there. And you can just do like this. And then you're going to take these 3 fingers. This is like your side, and then you're squeezing while this is pushing in. And we're going to try to fix the edges just a little. I don't make them too thin. If they're too thin, they dry out. See, if you look, some people make them really thin, but they're a little bit better thicker. Now, I have my oil on a regular griddle too, but it's harder to control the heat. Now you're going to put a dime, between a dime and a quarter of the oil, and then we're going to put that on there. Okay, then we'll come back here. It's organizedworkorhome.com, and I have the recipe to show you how to make here. I wait till the cheese and the sauce comes bubbling and oozing out. When that starts oozing out, then we will flip it. Then we'll cook the second. You see how this one is a little bit drier? And this one's starting to dry out. You can see the tiny little cracks. These that I put back down. This one's just about ready to flip. So you just I take the edge and I come in. And then you're going to flip it. And fan that way you get this crispy. See where the cheese and the meat came out? On a lot of pupusas, they won't have this. When you go to a restaurant, it's the best pupusa. Enjoy them.